Greetings. Welcome to the mat. We're going to start in a comfortable seated position. You may want to have a bolster or a couple blankets alternative if you don't have a bolster and a block as part of the stretches today. This is just for some breath work, some centering, some grounding, and stretching. So find your way in the most comfortable seated pose for yourself. And take a few moments to become present, become self-aware. This is your body sitting upright, your heart opening, your spine elongating so that you can feel some energy that sits above our crown and ground into the energy through the earth, the center of the earth. Allow everything else to go. Notice you're slowing down the inhale and the exhale breath. You're bringing the breath lower into your system. Maybe even visualize that you're breathing in through the rim of the pelvis, the sacrum, the kidney lines expanding, broadening in our inner body, as if our breath could illuminate us to the space. And we fill ourselves up energetically within our body, but also into the space. As we are exhaling, we're trying to hold that sense of length and openness, prana, but let the breath be completely cleansed out from the body. We're going to continue breathing, but whatever way your ankles or legs may have been crossed, one foot in front of the other, however you were sitting, do a change and draw back to your observation. Come back to expanding awareness in your breath. Slow down your inhale. Learn to breathe through your nose unless you have physical reasons not to. Maybe you're stuffy, you have a deviated septum, whatever that may be. But if you're able to use your nose as a way of bringing the air in, our nose hairs filter it, and it also is a smaller pathways than when we breathe through our mouth. Also, the way it works with our nervous system is quite differently. So please work with that. Those that become more familiar with it, your whole goal in breath work would be Ujjayi Pranayama, of which you would work with in and out of the poses, in the poses, as part of the foundation, just like the physical pose foundations. The breath work is very important. We're going to bring our arms up. Hands come down into the heart center. Let's do that a couple more times. Have your eyes closed, gazing inwards at the ajna, the brow center. One more time, allow yourself to lengthen, arms up overhead, and exhale, hands up. Oh. Inhale, hands go up. Exhale, arms gently cascade down. Take a few moments, spin the elbows, bringing your heart up, push into your fingertips. Some of us might feel comfortable to lay the hands down. If your pelvis is elevated in your seated pose, you would also want to just accommodate that. Maybe your hands don't go to the floor. Now keep the legs as they are, but do a stretch forward over the cross. You can use a block here for under your forehead, your arms, your hands. Try to soften and relax, relax, relax. Allowing mindfulness to be fully here. So when you can be mindful, you know when your mind is thinking thoughts, distracting you out of the present moment. You know when your breath is off point. Draw your hands, your arms, your torso staying as low as you can. Go over towards the side, towards the right. Go only to your personal edge, keeping the pelvis down. And through center, staying low. Bring your hands over to the opposite side. Next inhale, come through to center. Walking the arms and the hands in as we rise up. Lift the hands behind you. And exhale. We're going to now change the cross of our legs. This time we'll do that here. You're going to inhale, breath, let yourself lengthen. And then we're going to exhale and go forward. Stay through the center. Be up on your fingertips. Try to keep the shoulders out of the ear area again. Floating ribs come in, but your sternum is lacing forward. So throughout our yoga poses, we learn over time different like pushy or pulling mechanisms that we're trying to create within the pose. We're not hanging out in our joints. Relaxing tension as we now walk over towards the left side first. And you level your shoulders and still extend through the body. Create a grounding in your pelvis and some support in our deep core. Inhale through the center. Exhale, breath to the other side. And we're stretching and breathing. Noticing where we might have tension, resistance, straining, and working your way back to stretch and breathing. Inhale to center. Slowly walk your hands in. We'll take the arms back behind us one final time. Bend the elbows if you'd like. Lift the chest. Slight rock of the pelvis forward, drawing the ribs in. And you don't have to take your head all the way back for those types of stretches. Slowly release. Legs extend. Make a little movement. Take both of the feet off towards one side. I'm going to take them off to my left and then take a twist where I'm sitting up. Your hips might not fully be on the ground. You're welcome to set something so your pelvis is able to lift higher. We twist around to the opposite direction as our feet with our belly button. And then we're going to turn in our neck, the gaze towards the front shoulder. Unwind. Please bring your legs out in front of you a moment. The knees forward, the feet are what's sweeping off to the other side. Lengthen, inhale. Twisting around. Now we do our navel towards our left. We're going to turn at the neck and take our gaze over that front shoulder. Try not to pull with your arms. Create space. And so again, if you might be tight, you elevate your pelvis on a block, blankets, or bolster. Slowly unwind, allow your legs to be out in front of you. It's where you may have a yoga strap. You can also make this very modified, letting your knees bend. Inhale, reach up. Forward fold. If you need more of a restorative, you fill up that space between your legs and your body. If you're really tight, sensitive to postures like this, bend your knees and please elevate your pelvis. Relax, relax, relax. Focus on stretch. Focus on breath. And a proper stretch allows us to deepen and become more yoked consciously with our breath, energetically with the breath, with all the subtle attributes. activating all of your breathing muscles. And if you don't know what that is, maybe look into it. Message me about it. There are literal muscles that we learn to awaken so that our breaths can be much fuller, much more deeper, and much more impactful along our yoga journey. Next, inhale, lengthening and coming up. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. Wrap around and find a fuller twist. Keep the head in line with the spine and possibly looking to the back shoulder. Allow for some energy through the feet and the inner thighs, the core body. Keep the legs. You're going to unwind, go over towards the left with your hands, placing them to the floor blocks or a bolster. Bend the elbows and kind of bow down. See if you can keep both hips down. On an inhale breath, we rise up. Switch sides. Spinal twist. No over effort applied. We want to be more connected to spiritual fitness during asana. And especially here where the invitation is much more about our stretch and our breath work. So you want to let go of your ego, your striving, anything you're kind of making happen into the situation. Slowly unwinding. Now let's go to the other side. Inhale, unwind. Take your time. You'll find your way to hands and knees. I'm going to work through some cat-cow. Spread the fingers out really wide. Find support in our core body. Let's take it to the cat pose first. Really slow down your breathing through these postures. Make sure you get that feeling of drawing your chest forward before your head lifts up at cat. That sensation deep in the core of lifting up. So strong in our legs and the tops of our shin and feet, there's less pressure on our knees. Last time for the cat. Become neutral, reset your knees if you need to. We're gonna walk our arms, hands forward, trying to keep the arms elevated, but rest the forehead down. This could also be on a prop. Draw your floating ribs in and gently let your inner thighs roll back. Puppy dog pose, Anahata Asana, your knees are under your hips, the thighs are active, belly, pelvic floor active. You're softening and releasing into the stretch for your back, your shoulders, and for some of us, our chest. So if this is a pretty comfortable stretch, there's no straining, then you can take it deeper. Otherwise, just be here. Work on your arms, being strong, triceps roll under. Slowly inhale. Walk it back in. If you can, please take some time in to sit at hero pose. We're going to clasp the hands behind us into hero's pose. Bend the elbows. If your hands don't come together, you can use a yoga strap in between your hands. Elevate your pelvis on blocks, bolsters, a combination. Do your yoga, opening up through your chest. Feeling your shoulder blades squeeze together. First, send your hands down. And once you get really clear about that communication and you're not pushing your rib cage forward, it adds to some of our stretches. Again, no strain. Arms float up and away from the sacrum. Sacred is our breath. The prana is what we're mastering within ourselves, and we use the physicality of our bandhas, release of tension in our body, and proper breathing for yoga. Nice, breathe in, give a moment where reach up. And we're going to go down, find Balasana, child's pose. Any arm variation that feels good to you. When you're ready, you're going to transition down onto your abdomen, practicing Sphinx into possibly Cobra stretch. Knees, chest, chin. Feet go out wider. Some of us may benefit by having something under the forearms. So especially if you happen to be have a little bit more in your forward body, having the elbows elevated can be nice for this pose. Some of us may need to learn to activate in order to feel the benefit of a Sphinx pose. Pressing down, you're energetically pulling yourself forward. You won't feel like you go anywhere except for energetically in your muscles. Tuck the tailbone under. Try to keep your heels from pronating or supinating. The toes spread out. Resist sinking into your shoulders. Walk your elbows more forward if you need to. But resist pushing down at your elbows. You want your forearms pressed down. Sternum is moving forward. We may have our chin slightly tucked. All upper back work from body stretch, from the heart stretch. Keep breathing into our belly. Lungs are relaxed. Lower down. We're going to take some time into the crocodile pose. You may wish to sway your hips a little side to side. Maybe bend your knees. You may wish to repeat that yoga posture, the Sphinx pose. If you're okay with a little bit deeper back bend stretch, we try our Bhujangasana Cobra pose. Take the hands back, elbows squeeze in. You would still embody some of the principles that the Sphinx, where you need to activate a bit to draw your energy forward so you don't just hinge into your low back when you go to come up. Same idea, chin can slightly tuck, your legs can be closer together or wider apart. Ideally, you're not using your hand strength, but your triceps do wrap in, your elbows stay close to your body. No bracing, we should be able to sing. Have a joyful breath in our Bhujangasana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Slowly bring it down, opposite hand rests on top. A couple moments here. Stretch your left arm out to the side. We're rolling over to the outer edge of the left body. You can bend your knees or straighten the legs. We start to stack our shoulders, start to stack our hips. Top leg comes up, we bend the knee, and that foot either goes behind the leg or forward of the leg. Maybe you don't even add the hip opening. You want to make sure there's no straining until allow that right arm to come around if you'd like. You can touch onto the leg or stay in front of you as a little extra support. Start to close the leg, pulling in through the belly as you come onto the mat. Head, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles lining up. Letting go, finding ways to be non-attached during our practice of stretch and breathe. So now we're on our other side. You want to give your body some similar places of posturing. How that was for you. What variation did you work with? The heart should still be moving, not closing down to the shoulder girdle or to the mat, but your heart center should be elevated and moving kind of forward like we did in Sphinx pose. Yoga has so many base things, and then we just repeat those base things pretty much in every posture. Especially when it comes to back bends, whether they're small or big, it's the same things we're always in interplay and weaving. Back on your belly, take a big inhale. Exhale. Some of us find that downward facing dog is indeed a healthy, good stretch. For those of you that practice in that way, you'll take a down dog pose time. Otherwise, please honor a balasana, child's pose. We'll take several breaths. Focus on stretching and breathing. Letting go of the inner chatter. Letting go of any stress, tension, thoughts. Our next posture, we're going to find some of us as ragdoll, a variation of Uttanasana, coming up towards our hands, and then we fold forward. Please take your variation, keep your knees from locking in towards each other, have space between the feet. The knees can even bend. You can place your hands around opposite elbows. And your torso is just a soft position here. Our thighs are active, feet are active. This might be a place where the occasional exhale through the mouth just helps us distribute any energy that may be getting stuck or the body is trying to release out. If you had your elbows one way, switch your arms, maybe your torso swaying. This gives us some inversional effects, so be mindful. There are certain indications health-wise, energetic-wise, illness-wise. There are reasons we would not want to invert. So long as we don't have any of those health conditions or limitations, getting a little daily dose of extra blood to our brain, our heart can feel like good medicine. We're going to be moving into Malasana Yogi Squat. So you want to position yourself, use a yoga ball, use props. The feet go out about hip distance. We turn the toes slightly out. Draw the belly in so that we lower down slow. Bring the hands together in front of the heart if that's appropriate for you. Resist sinking downwards. Even though this is a good stretch, it's so important that our joints don't have that downward compression. We are stretching, but we have some activation, and this includes our feet. What we learn to be our bandhas through the perineum, pelvic floor, transverse abdominals, the intrinsic muscles. I've got my upper back active, like the Sphinx pose, moving my heart forward. You don't let your pelvis rock under to posterior tilt, but if you tend to have a more extension and rounding in your low back, then sometimes adding a slight tuck at the tailbone when you work on these types of hip opening may be relatively important. And rock a little bit, move a little bit. Coming back to that forward fold, exhale breath, legs extend, work the feet in. Bow down, hands to the hips, shoulders back. Inhalation, grounding here into a mountain pose. Activate your body so you can feel as though you're giving yourself a stretch. Elongating yourself through the center channels in our leg bones, activating the hands a little bit, feeling extension through the fingers, through the arms. Feeling a sense that we're broadening again. Our breath has a physical limitation in our body, but as we amplify our consciousness with the breath, you will notice that you can use the energy of the breath to almost inflate you to the size of the room. Don't mind me, I got something in my eye. I think it's an eyelash. Let's connect to our feet, interlace our fingers, press the palms forward, reach the arms up. And then we're going to stretch over to the side. Let the right side body open out. Stretching and breathing. Inhale the center and exhale to the other side. Inhale up through the center. And exhale, hands come down. We're going to do one last stretch here. Your feet might reset about 2 fist distance apart. Take the hands a different way, clasping behind you. Open your chest. Going to feel that initial lift of your heart like we did in the hero pose earlier. Now we're going to go forward and down. Stay breathing. You're doing your best. You can use a yoga strap in between your hands. If this is too much, you can just have your hands on your hips, letting your shoulders pull back. Return the hands to the sacrum if they weren't already there. Please use an inhale to come all the way up. And exhale. We're going to find a seated posture. Please take some moments to have a bolster. Sit with our feet off towards the side. And like that twist we did earlier, but we're going to lie down across the bolster here. So we're going to inhale, lengthen, turn, twisting, And then walk the hands and arms down either side. Your body is coming down. You might have stacks of blankets or pillows. Forehead rests down, shoulders relax. That top leg might slide back until the knee and sit into the bottom foot arch area. Some of us might feel very comfortable in turning the head the opposite way. You don't have to do that. Come inwards to your breath. Letting go. Top leg that may have went back will come forwards, more stacking. Place your hands under your shoulders. Inhale to come up. We're gonna turn around and face the other way. I'm gonna turn myself around. Place the bolster on my other side. Same idea of practice. Find the length first and the twist. Then you come down. You let your torso get all the way down towards the twist. And then you allow the top leg to extend back. You can also choose the direction of the head. Yoga is a personal journey. It's very important that we have a way to realize ourselves in our body and through our breath. We realize ourselves in our mind by observing, reacting less, being less ego. And this opens us up through our breath to become more intuitive. So these various messages our body has can be explored in deeper and deeper self-realization over time. Learn where your body holds tension, resistance. Learn about the emotions that come up. Learn about your breath. Stay breathing. No matter what, stay breathing. Top leg slides more on top. Head comes center, hands come in. Lift ourselves up. We're going to keep that bolster. Turn in a way where your bolster setup will be eventually behind you. Let the legs come out in front of you a moment. You want to give yourself one more forward stretch. You can also choose to let your knees bend and have a much sweeter, maybe even wrap around and of yourself. If you'd like to We work into Supta Baddha Konasana, so the soles of the feet can come together. And if you need, you can use your blocks to prop that situation. That might not be needed. We'll allow the hips to stay down, lift up. As we're coming down, you can also do things like learn about strapping your feet, your legs. Maybe I'll show that in another demonstration. You open yourself up in the heart, the chest, around the front of the shoulders, our abdomen, our solar plexus, and all through that front of the pelvis, possibly through our inner thigh, our groin. Deep dive into yourself. Creating such a bond, such a connected connection in the present moment. You can feel our breath expanding us from within. And from that expanded breath within, possibly feeling our energy, the prana body expands to the size of the room as we breathe in. We hold ourselves in that energetically larger space, remembering that it's okay to take up space. Connect to the exhale in such a way that your body feels relaxed and safe. Let our exhales work with the energy to be non-attached, to let go. That this moment you're in while you breathe is the truest moment. Anything else comes through something of the past, potential of a future. The yoga asks us to be right here, right now. Slowly inviting the legs up. Roll over to one side until you can comfortably remove whatever prop you may have had under you. Come down on your back, hug your knees in. And let's take a Shavasana resting pose. You can apply the bolster or blankets underneath the leg. We release all. And in this process to release It's beyond just relaxing. So we're releasing, we're letting go. And at the same time, there is an immense amount of absorption, resettling. Maybe even recognizing kind of the afterglow effects without trying to make anything happen. If you would like a bit longer time here, allowing that to be your truth. Resting 3 to 5 minutes is a good baseline for a Shavasana practice. I thank you for joining in for this stretch and breathe session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste.